paper number 1. You guys can check the section A from the previous videos. Today we are going to attempt section B. As I told you that you have a choice in the section B. In the section A we don't have any kind of a choice. So you need to attempt all the questions. But section B we have 4 and 5 questions, and you can do either 4 or 5. It's totally up to you and up to your knowledge, whatever the content you have in your mind. So you can attempt any question. So today we are going to attempt question number 4, and before attempting the question you need to understand the structure of the question, because questions will help you to respond your answer to the questions. It is very important because it's a 26 marks question, so you must have a complete structure in your mind in the order to respond to the questions. So what we have to do, you need to understand the structure of the question. You need to start from introduction. Introduction, like, could be any heading. It could be any heading. Remember that the question is evaluate. Okay, now we have to evaluate, so you need to understand the concepts of the evaluation, how we can evaluate anything. You need both perspective. Everything has two perspectives, so you need to understand the perspectives. You need to understand the perspectives. And perspective of what? You need to understand the perspective of both sides. Mean you have positive and negative perspective, and then you will evaluate. Mean you will conclude. Okay, so you will start from the heading, and first in the 26 marks question you need to give first supportive arguments. Okay, you need to give two sides of the arguments. First we are going to give supportive arguments. So what you will do the headings of your supportive arguments. If you have anything, you just have to introduce it and then analyze it. Analyze how you will analyze it, by explain, or it could be explanation or any kind of example, and then give a very good kind of a conclusion. Conclusion is all about is your heading and your example, and then conclude it. Okay, conclude it in a mean whatever the example you give or you mention over there, it must be related to the headings, and your headings must be a kind of a support, and support what? The supportive of the question. So when you will give second heading, what do you need to do? You need to follow the same structure, mean headings, then explanation, mean give example, and then conclude. And obviously if you have a third one, you can give another heading. Suppose you have two headings, and then what you will do, you would give some against argument, or you might say opposite arguments, against arguments. Again, structure would remain same: intro, and then examples, and then conclude. And you will ultimately, the last things, if I combine the overall structure of the question, you would give introduction, as I mentioned over there, then analysis, and then conclusion. Okay, so that was the heading 1. You follow these 3 patterns, and heading 2 you follow these 3 patterns, and then at the end of the question, mean overall you would give conclusion to your questions. Remember that introduction or introduction must be like you might say 3 to 4 lines, and then examples you can again can give it into 3 to 4 lines, and then conclude it into 2 to 3 lines. One paragraph must consist of 7 to 9 lines, and you must have at least 6 to 7 paragraphs, or 6 to 7 paragraph. Okay, you can down it to analysis 1, analysis 2, analysis 3, and all the stuff. How you will be able to get this structure? Let's try to attempt the question first, and then you would be able to understand the structure of the question. If you look at the question, so question is that one thing before attempting the question you keep in mind, you must have maximum time for this question. So as I told you in the previous videos, you need to attempt or don't need to give extra time to 4 marks, 6 marks question. Try to attempt them quickly. So you have plenty of time to think about 26 marks question, because you cannot compromise on such a huge marks question. Okay, now let's try to solve the question. First question is that evaluate the view that individual identity is largely shaped by the social class. So an individual identity is significantly influenced by their social class. The social class. The following arguments, or you can say the following supportive arguments, is totally up to you what kind of word you are using. Okay, the following supportive argument based on it. Now let's try to attempt the question, because that was simple starting lines. Now you might give a supportive heading. It's totally your choice. Supportive arguments. Number one, access to resources. Access to resources. Social class often determine. Now what I will do, I give the heading. Now I'll give introduction in the few lines, then I will give example, then I will conclude these headings. Okay, it often determine access to resources, access to resources such as education, healthcare, and job opportunities, no need to use such words, but I'm just recording it for you guys, so that's why I'm taking uh, a short terms. So but you will mention over there a and d, and no need to write such a blank words. So job opportunities, these resources these resources now I give an introductory line into, you can see I have explained my headings. Now I am going to give more explanation. These resources significantly shape an individual life shaping an individual life shaping an individual life, chances and opportunities consequently influencing their identity. Now you can see, first I give the introduction of my heading, then I explain it in few more lines. Now I will analyze it through examples. For instance, someone from an affluent background an affluent background and affluent background may have access to better educational educational institutions and thus develop and thus develop and thus develop a sense of entitlement and confidence that can shape their ability, that can shape their not ability that shape their identity. One thing is, remember that if you don't want to conclude it over there, you can't conclude. But what you need to understand, that you need to give an introduction. First, you need to explain, you need to give the introduction of your heading. Then, if you can give an explanation, you need to give an explanation just related with your question, because the question is that how it's shaping the identity, social, class, how they shaping the individual identity. So then I give an example. Let's take another point of view. Let's take another point of view. And all these are the supportive arguments. What we can say is the cultural capital. Try to use the sociological material, whatever you read in during your classes. Cultural capital. Individual from try to start in the next line. Individual from different social classes, are often exposed to distinct cultural norms, values, and practices. This cultural capital can influence what should I say, various aspects of identity, including language, taste, and lifestyle choices. Now, I'm going to analyze it further. For example, for example, someone, or you might say individual from working class background may have a different accent, may have different accent, dietary preferences, and the layer activities, compared with compared with individual or compared to individual from upper class from upper class background contributing to difference in identity formation, contributing to different or the differences different in identity formation. If you have any things to mention over there, you can write it as well. Let's say we can give another heading for the supportive arguments, could be socialization. If you guys remember the question number third, this is actually the question number third, where what we did, we divide into two parts, 10 marks question and 6 marks question. In the 10 marks question, we need to explain the phenomena, mean you need to give the arguments to support the phenomena. But in the next question, they are asking us that you need to give argument against this view. This is how you have to execute the phenomena of or the structure of the question number 3 over there. So socialization. Social class plays a significant role. Social class plays significant role in shaping an individual socialization process, family, peers, and institution and social institution within a particular social class, impart norms, imparting norms, beliefs and behaviors that contribute to the development of identity, Now, what I will do, I will explain this phenomena, I will analyze it. For instance, children from affluent families, individual from affluent families may be socialized to value achievement, to value achievement, to value achievement and individualism and individualism, while those from working class background may give priority or may prioritize community and collective identity. Community and collective identity. Here, however, there are other factors. Now I am shifting towards the second part of the question. Now, there are other factors that shaping individual identity, or you can say there are following other factors. Just to make it more clear, there are following other factors that shaping individual identity. You might give a heading of non-supportive arguments, or you might say against view. It's totally your choice of words. Okay, what could be the non-supportive arguments is like agency, let's say agency and individual choice Well, social class undoubtedly influence the opportunities and constraint. Individuals still possess agency. Individual possesses agency and can actively shape their identities. Individual from now I am giving the arguments against the social class. Okay, but because not only a social class, but there are other factors who can shaping the individual identity other than social class. So individual from disadvantaged background disadvantaged background can challenge societal expectations and redefine their identities through education, or personal achievement Thus, while social class may set while social class may set initial parameter and initial parameters individual can exercise individual can exercise exercise social agency in constructing their identity in constructing their identities. Other arguments you may give, uh, for example, intersectionality in giving argument against the view of the question. Intersectionality, you might add factors such as gender or ethnicity or sexuality, race, anything. You can give the arguments over there. And then uh, other arguments could be globalization. You can mention over there. Number 4, you can talk about the social mobility. Okay, there are so many things that can shape the individual behavior. Now, what you need to do, you need to conclude over there, because we are evaluating this. So evaluation was social class shaping the identity. So what you will do, you will conclude it according to the perspective of the question. So hence social class, hence there are so many factors that shaping that are shaping that are shaping individual identity, individual identity identity. However, social class undeniably undeniably exerts influence exerts influence on an individual identity, on an individual identity through access to resources. Now, whatever the heading you give over there, just conclude it in a proper way. Individual through access to resources, access to resources, cultural capital, and socialization. This is how you have to end up your question. If you guys have any question, if you guys have any kind of a problem in any kind of a paper, just comment below and then I will upload the solution of the paper.